What's up, guys?
Hey,
How are
David.
you? Hey, Kev.
I just want to start by asking you about Romeus, because you went to Finney and you said you only took one fight and you didn't do it. Romeus did the same thing, right? He had just one fight after he was on the Contender Series. I don't know if you were aware of that, but
Yeah, but big difference in performances.
yeah. And I was going to say how much did that.
When I tell you, you got to go out and get some more experience, and you come back and you look shittier than you did the first time, apparently you didn't get enough experience. You know, he's a young guy. He's 25 years old. He should have fought 3 or 4 times in between, then and now. Listen, there's a lot of guys out there that are 8 and 9 and 0, and we can't fill spots with guys that don't look like they could compete here. I'll tell you this right now. You take him in and bring him into the UFC, he gets absolutely destroyed by guys who can stop his takedown and strike better than the Australian kid tonight.
And how much did you like? You mentioned Romeus's athleticism. Him being 30 years old, was that a concern at all? Did that weigh on your mind? Again, he's not a guy that's got a long time left, right? So you. Yeah,
well, we had a couple of those tonight. I'm never looking for 30-year-old contenders, but when you see these guys that have, that type of ability, it's almost like the now or never. Listen, we brought them here. We gave them the opportunity. They deliver. See what they can do. I can't remember what you guys probably know better than me. Cormier, when he first, started, he started late, and look at what he accomplished. So who knows?
Exactly. And I wanted to ask you about the heavyweight. I mean, he opened with that front kick, and I thought he was going to put his opponent through the cage. I mean, he hit him so hard in there. And he just looked like, he had that assurance about him throughout the fight, like, I'm going to finish this fight. And there seemed to be no doubt in his mind that that's what he was going to do. Is that attitude sort of, kind of what you're looking for and what you're talking about up there?
I don't know. It's funny you say that because we were talking about it. He seemed kind of nonchalant in there, like, all right, yeah, it was never like I'm going to finish this fight as fast as possible. I agree with you 100%. There was no doubt in his mind that fight was going to end. It was just a matter of when. He was very patient, and but when you hear his interview, he's he's not Captain Excitement, so you know what I mean. It's not like this guy's has that type of energy level, but you can tell he's a bad dude.
Could I ask you 2 other Merab's cut? What do you know about Merab's cut? And can you make any?
The whole world knows about Merab's cut. He posted it. Our guys are so dumb. It's next level, unbelievable. It's all the stuff that I talk about boxing. What I will give boxing is when something happens in a camp, man. Let me tell you what, it does not leak. Our guys can't fucking wait to throw it up on social media. It's a small cut. It's no big deal, but obviously needed to be posted.
Against a guy like O'Malley, who's a sharpshooter and who's a very accurate puncher, now all of a sudden there's a big target for him.
And why the fuck would you want him to know that? Yeah. It is next level stupid. Some of these guys are so stupid, it's mind-boggling. It's unbelievable.
The last thing I wanted to ask you was Adesanya's comments last week. I thought he made a good point where, in the whatever show it was, the thing about Francis was kind of washed out. He wouldn't mention Francis's name. And he brought that up, and said he thought you can't whitewash history and that, whatnot. And that seemed to be a good point. Why did you scrub Francis out of the video and that?
I don't know about this. Do you? Do you, Lene? Do you know about this? Yeah.
So Adesanya talked. There was I'm not sure which one of the shows it was, but there was one of the shows, and there was a thing, and Francis came on the screen, and his name got scrubbed out, right? They didn't say his name, so you couldn't hear it, as if like he wasn't part of the UFC, as if he wasn't part of the history.
And it was something that we produced?
Correct. And then Israel at the press conference before the fight actually talked about it, and and he had commented on that, and I was just kind of.
So are you sure that we produced this?
Yes. Yes.
So what show was it on?
I can't remember. There were so many of them, but I don't remember which one it was. But for sure it was on last week. It was a show that you produced, and he then
embedded or something.
It might have been embedded. But he made the comment. He said the UFC are good people. I know that they're going to eventually do the right thing. But he was critical of the UFC for scrubbing Francis out.
Well, I don't disagree with that. But literally everybody who's sitting in here right now, including our head of PR, doesn't know about it. And when did Israel say it? Post-fight?
At the pre-fight press conference.
Pre-fight. Yeah, I wasn't there. Lene wasn't there.
I'll find it
Were you
on
there,
social.
Chris? Chris wasn't there. Well, we'll find out what happened, and I'll have Lene call you and tell you what the deal is with that. Because if that's true and that was done and it was something that we produced, then somebody in the company made that decision. That definitely, listen, you know me. Right. If I said we did it, I'd say, yeah, fuck him, and this is why we did it. I know nothing about it. Nobody ever asked me about it, and this is the first we're hearing about it. Or I would tell you the...
So I'm just reading this, a CBS Sports story. It says, Adesanya reinforced Ngannou's significance to the UFC amid cases where the promotion appeared to scrub mention of the former heavyweight champion. You can never erase Francis's history from the UFC, Adesanya told ESPN while looking straight into the camera ahead of UFC 305 in Perth. So I'm not sure, it doesn't say exactly. There's a video below that also shows Israel talking, but it doesn't talk exactly what video it was he was referencing.
Right. So when we find out, she'll let you know.
Speaking of UFC 305, we haven't heard what your thoughts are yet on the main event. I'm just curious what you thought of it.
I'm sorry, say that again?
What you thought of the UFC 305 main event.
It was awesome. I mean, I was in New York and we were watching it, and we were going crazy during the fight. It was a great fight by both guys. I mean, both guys put on a, I thought that Israel looked incredible. Dreykus is so awkward and unorthodox. He's got to be the toughest guy to train for. He fights like a white guy dances. It's so crazy and awkward, and you know what I mean? It's but very effective.
What do you see next for Izzy?
That's up to him. I mean, I'm sure he's going to take some time and reflect. Obviously, he decided not to retire that night, so I don't know. We'll see what's next.
I know last week I asked you about Conor. You said not this year. He kind of went crazy. What's the update now since you've talked to him?
There's no update from the last time he talked to me.
Are you going to get a bunch of texts again today?
Probably.
Kayla Harrison mentioned that she wanted to be the backup for the title fight. I'm just curious if that's an option.
Yeah, we're working on all that stuff right now.
You guys recently announced the fight, the Crazy Hawaiian and Dumpling for Power Slap. I'm just curious how that fight came about and why you chose to have it in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi's coming up. Dumpling looked incredible. Crazy Hawaiian's the champion, and that was the place to make it.
John Jones has also talked a little bit about, or hinted about potentially retiring after Stipe. I know that's something people have talked about. If he does decide to retire, will it be worth the wait that we've waited so long for that fight for him to just retire after? Or do you feel confident that he'll probably defend?
Yeah, John is one of those, challenging guys to deal with. And I think that, he's talking about retiring, but will he, if the Aspinall thing is really flying out there? I personally think John challenges himself and takes the fight. And I think he does it.
One last question. Was there any worry about signing the heavyweight tonight just because of his past history with USADA?
No.
Thank you.
Yep.
And over here, just trying to bring it back to Torres Finney real quick. Let's say he does go out there and get the 3-4 fights you told him to do, and maybe he wins them. Is that a situation where you want to bring him back and see him in person here at the Contender Series, or do you kind of evaluate that, and depending on how he looks, you just straight up sign him if he does do that?
Yeah, I think that if he goes out and gets those fights, looks good, you can't fight one time a year and come here with that much muscle and think that you're gonna, you're gonna have the right cardio, you're gonna have the right performance. Go get some experience. You're 25 years old. You're young. You're not even in your prime for fighting for a couple more years. And the guy's got nothing but time. Does he really want this? Is this what he really wants to do for the rest of his life? That's up to him. He's got to go out and figure that out. And the answer to your question is no. We probably bring him right in.
Sure. And another one of the UFC's main talent found, The Ultimate Fighter. It's wrapping up tonight. Finals are this Saturday. So what was your overall thoughts of this season between Grasso and Shevchenko, and what can we expect for the future of the show?
What was my thoughts on what?
Overall thoughts on the season of The Ultimate Fighter this year, since it's wrapping up this week.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a good season. Yeah, and you know, a couple guys in there we really like, and yeah, The Ultimate Fighter will be back again.
I was going to say, where do you rank this cast amongst these previous casts? Because I saw a lot of people online really hyping up this year's cast, kind of maybe saying it stood out a bit more compared to the others.
Yeah, I agree. I did like the cast this season.
For sure. And last one for me, I saw you mentioned there, you in New York. I saw the clips online of you in New York, and you were with popular streamers Speed and Aiden Ross, where you were in the middle of them, and Speed submitted Aiden Ross. Just want to get your thoughts on that funny encounter.
My thoughts on him submitting Aiden Ross?
Yeah, I know you're...
I don't really have an opinion on it. Yeah.
For sure. Thank you.
All right.
Dana. I wanted to ask you about Cody Haddon, the Australian. You said that Sean Shelby was really hyped for this fight.
Yeah.
When Sean comes to you and like hypes up this fight, like what's he kind of telling you?
Sean doesn't hype up anything. Sean has turned into a disgruntled employee, and nothing in the fight business makes him happy anymore. That's why I was like, holy shit. Sean loves this fight. He literally could not stop talking about this fight. He was really excited, and then obviously he loves Billy Brand and he loves Cody. So yeah, that obviously had a lot of influence over me right from the beginning.
I wanted to ask you about the Khalil Roundtree booking against Alex Pereira. Obviously, it's a very, very fun fight on paper. With Ankalaev, I guess being so highly ranked and him being skipped over, what was the?
He wasn't skipped over. He's got a fight coming up. Ankalaev, we're laying the fights out now. Ankalaev's got a fight lined up. Go in there, do your thing, look great. Obviously, you're next. We had to make this fight card, and as you go down the line, you start looking at it. Khalil Roundtree makes a lot of sense, and you said it yourself. No way in hell that's not a fun one.
Was it all? I mean, you see it all the time. Timing is
everything.
So was that just kind of what happened?
100%.
John Jones, going back to him, he was tweeting all today, hinting retirement. He says that
John Jones was tweeting today saying he's going to retire. Is that what he did?
hinting at retirement. And then he says that maybe the UFC will offer me a deal that I can't refuse to come back and fight Aspinall.
Well, there you go. There you go. Okay. You just answered your own question. That's what I think we'll do. Listen, it's always the same dealing with John. I can tell. Listen, when we were talking about Francis earlier, right? I have zero animosity toward Francis. Francis was out of my world long time ago. That guy over there and Mick are another story. It's a long story. That dude did everything he could in his power to make John Jones versus Francis. The fight did not happen, and let me tell you what, it wasn't because of John Jones. So, John is a very unique individual to deal with. John Jones will fight everybody. John Jones was absolutely positive. He wanted Francis. You saw what happened with Cyril Gane. He will tell you, like he told us, that he would do the same thing to Francis Ngannou. He wanted that fight so bad. And for anybody who thinks, I know the whole internet, oh, John Jones, he's fucking, that I'm up John Jones' ass. These are fucking facts. Facts. And since everybody has been such douchebags about this, I'm coming out with a nice little punch in the face for all you fuckers that think that John Jones isn't the greatest of all time. Dislike him, whatever your beef is with John Jones, knock yourself out. There is no way in hell that John Jones doesn't want to fight Aspinall. So that I guarantee you.
So with that being said, say John Jones gets past Stipe and he wants a bigger contract.
John Jones is doing John Jones right now. That's what he does. You know what I mean? That's what he does. There is nobody that we've ever dealt with that when I tell you is not afraid to fight anybody, it's John Jones. And I just told her, I believe John Jones Aspinall happens if he beats Stipe.
Is that something? Is that like a fight that you would, try and make happen money-wise if he's asking for more money?
We'll do everything we can to make the fight happen. Listen, you're saying, would we make that fight if John Jones asked for more fun? What fights don't we make? Other than the Francis thing, what fights don't we make? And you can't make people fight. And we couldn't make Francis fight. But every other fight we've made. We've dealt with guys from like Brock Lesnar. I mean, think of the biggest stars that have ever been in the sport. We've always made the fights, Yeah.
And finally, just one quick question about this weekend. Kyle Barallo fighting Jared Cannonier, big fight for Kyle. I guess if Kyle goes out there and beats Jared Cannonier, he's number 5 in the division. And the middleweight division is really starting to kind of
heat up. I agree.
Crammed at the very top. So,
there's nothing but fun fights coming up in the middleweight division. It's like when it's like you're asking me right now. Who knows? There's just so many possibilities in that division right now. And I always instead of talking first, I like to see how fights play out and how it all, after everybody fights, let's see what happens and we'll find out what's next.
Is South Africa on the docket? Because
100%.
Cool. Thank
100%.
You already said it was not a smart decision to share the cut, but have you thought of a replacement for that fight? Is it someone that you've been working in the last?
No.
Not because of this, but it's obviously a big fight.
No. I don't even talk like this. Don't you dare throw the jinx on me. The cost of doing this production, if we have to change anything, is fucking devastating. So, no.
Just going off that, we're just a few weeks out from the Sphere. How is the production going for that? I mean, how much of the show is laid out and how much is still being developed at this point?
Incredible. I literally, before I flew to New York last week, we had a run through in the Sphere at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were there from 3 to 7 doing rehearsals and running through the whole thing. It's incredible.
I know in the past I've seen a live band there use drones in a show. Has anybody approached you? Have you guys thought about using drones for that particular broadcast?
No.
Okay. Cool. If you decide to, just a few more dollars.
It isn't even about the money anymore, but no, drones are not a part of the show.
Gotcha. I heard that you were on Instagram Live with Mick talking about possibility of taking Contender Series or the idea of it on the road.
I literally was sitting there and I was watching, I was looking around. I said, I wonder how this would do if we went 10 weeks on the road to 10 different cities with the Contender Series next season. And Mick and Sean both love it. So it's something that I'll kick around with the team and see what we think.
Over here, I just wonder with the Sphere. I know you guys, when there's like a big pay-per-view weekend, we see the ceremonial weigh-ins at an arena or at a big location. So for that specific weekend, can we expect like the press conference and the weigh-ins to be at the Sphere as well, or?
I don't know. She would be the one that would put all that together. So you might want to talk to her later. She's the boss of that shit.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good. What's up?
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, and I almost forgot about. I know when the Sphere first came out, and then MGM booked something on the same weekend. I know at first you felt there was some disrespect, but that sort of thing I imagine happens with a long relationship. Are things good with the MGM?
Yeah, it's not about them doing things the same. But they've been disrespecting us for years. This is a long-term, some long-term disrespect here, and Bill Hornbuckle, who runs MGM, I appreciate the fact that he let me do this. He didn't have to let me go to the Sphere. Could have said, no, you're under contract with us and whatever. He was trying to fix the relationship because these guys that run the arena have just been, so fucking bad for so long. And, Bill Hornbuckle's trying to fix that relationship. Cool? Thanks, guys.